this evening. We're here tonight to celebrate a remarkable songwriter and an equally remarkable song. Our guest this evening is a songwriter of depth and versatility, having worked with artists from Stevie Wonder to Quincy Jones, Donna Summer to Jennifer Hudson, and Madonna, just to name a few. 30 years ago, she collaborated with Glenn Ballard in writing Man in the Mirror. The song appeared on Michael Jackson's album Bad, released in August of 1987. And its message of self-reflection and collective responsibility still resonates today. As a songwriter, she's earned a Grammy Award, 2 Oscar nominations, and the respect of the entire music community for her ongoing commitment to empowering positive change among all people. Would you please welcome Siedah Garrett? We got the comfy chairs. We can hang out. This is all good. Look at all this equipment we got going on here. Did you bring all this stuff?
It's just my little living room setting.
I bet. So, in my. Well, first of all, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
I go wherever
entirely.
I'm able to be seen.
Oh well. We're happy to have you here at the Grammy Museum.
Thank you.
So in my open, I mentioned 30 years ago.
I was just a child at the time.
I know. Well, but tell me, so in a very broad and general question, when you think back to that time, what do you feel? What do you remember? What stands out for you?
I remember that being a very, very heady time. It was at the peak of Michael's career. I was a new songwriter. I'd only been writing songs for a couple of years. I wrote poems. I didn't know anything about songs. So signed to Quincy Jones, and he was looking for one last song to finish out, to round out the Bad album.
Yeah.
He gave me some parameters, and I went to my dear friend and collaborator, Mr. Glenn Ballard. And yes.
Pretty good songwriter.
Yeah. Amazing producer, songwriter, arranger, musician. He's just off the charts. So we wrote this song, and at the end of us doing the demo, we knew that we had something really special. In fact, we hugged. We said, this is really good. But we didn't know if Quincy would like it.
Right.
And if Quincy liked it, if he liked it well enough to play for Michael. And when he played it for Michael, if Michael liked it well enough to record it.
Yep.
And the rest is her story.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is, but there's a whole lot from that point to her story, as you say. And I'm wondering, as you finished the demo, you knew at that point, am I correct in assuming, you knew at that point you were writing this for Michael, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Had you met him?
Never met him. Never even. I don't even know what gave me the audacity to think that something that I co-created would get his attention and make him. Here's what it was. I was in this group and a group of guy singers, and Michael was recording for the History Tour, but he only wanted male vocals. So they came back from the session going, yeah, we met Michael Jackson. We got these pictures, and they're hanging out with Michael. I was like, Quincy, I want to meet him. But I didn't want, Quincy said, don't, that's okay, I'll introduce you. But I didn't want it to be Quincy going, Michael, this is Ralph, George, Siedah, Barbara, Joe. I wanted him to want to meet me.
You wanted to stand out.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I don't even know what, even talking about this, I don't even know, I came from nothing. I hadn't written anything. I hadn't sold any records. I hadn't made any, well, still haven't sold no records, but that's another story. I haven't made any, I hadn't made any inroads into the music business. So I don't even know where the thought came. But when I was growing up, I don't know about you, Scott, But when I was growing up, Michael Jackson, that was my husband. Yeah. I had cousins.
Not so much for me, but
No,
but
yeah.
okay, it's all right.
But
It's all
there's
right.
always Reby and Toyota. So anyway, so I had this. See, now you make me forget.
Yeah, he was your husband.
Yes, my husband.
Yes.
So my cousins, they had Jermaine and Tito, but Michael was my husband.
He was the guy.
Okay. So when I gave this cassette to Quincy, and I said, Q, the only thing I ask is that you just let me know, as soon as you can, just let me know. He said, fine, all right, fine. He called me a couple hours later at the house and said, Sid, this is the best song that I've heard in 10 years. And I'm like,
Whoa.
yes. And then he said, but I didn't really hear shit after he said, but I wanted to live in the best song in 10 years. So I live in that moment. And then I heard him say, but Michael, we've been in the studio for 2.5 years, and Michael has yet to record a song that he didn't write. So I don't know. But he said, don't worry. If I don't record it with Michael on his record, I'll do it with James Ingram on my record. And I love James as much as the next person, but I'm going, Michael Jackson.
James wasn't your husband.
No, not even. So I had to
Although we love James. Don't get me wrong. Love James Ingram.
James is not my husband. I got a call from Quincy a couple hours after I dropped off the cassette. Yeah. And he said he loved the song. He said, but I don't know. 2 or 3 days later, I got another call. And Quincy said, and I quote, we in the studio recording your old piece of song. And I'm like, yes! And he said, but. And then I heard, Charlie Brown's teacher. That's kind of what I heard after. But he said, Michael has a problem with the chorus. He wants a few more lines to the chorus. I'm like, okay. He really wants you to bring home the. And then Quincy said, hold on. And I hear. And Quincy said, Michael really wants you to bring home the idea of hold on, Sid. And then I hear. So Quincy said, hold on a minute. Quincy Jones puts Michael Jackson, my husband, on the phone. Okay, so inside, I am as big a fan as anybody else. So I'm going, oh my God.
You're losing it.
Oh my God. I love you so much. You have no idea. All that. But on the phone, strictly hotel operator. I said, how can I help you? The first thing that Michael Jackson said to me was, I love this song. And I was like, yes.
Good night, nurse.
Yeah. The second thing Michael Jackson said to me was, I love your voice. Oh my God. It was such an amazing experience. I'm high right now just thinking about it. It was such an awesome experience. Yeah. And then I got to meet him.
Yes.
And I didn't even know I was going to meet him when I did meet him.
So I want to get to meeting him, but I want to roll it back a little bit and tell me a little bit about how the song started for you. Was it because there's a lot going on in this song. There's self-reflection. There's a message much bigger than just some AM radio hit. So there are levels of depth here, and I'm wondering, how did it start? Was it a riff? Was it a lyric? Was it something Glenn said to you?
I'm so glad you asked. That's my
I'm good at this. I'm very good at this.
So I told Glenn that Quincy was looking for this song, and Glenn said, well, what kind of song? I was like, I don't know. He said, well, let's just see what we come up with. Glenn gets up from his chair, and he walks over to his keyboard to get some sound. So he turns it on, and he starts playing. Cut to 2 years before this day. I'm sitting in a writing session with my dear friend, John Beasley, who's an amazing jazz pianist. And we're writing, and I thought we were doing, I thought we were making some headway, writing a good song. The phone rings. Instead of letting the machine, he picks up the phone and begins this very banal conversation. Oh, nothing. I'm not doing nothing. And I'm flipping through my lyric book. No, he didn't just say he's not doing nothing. No, he didn't. I was incensed. And I just remember flipping through. And then I heard him say, the man. What man? Oh, the man in the mirror. I wrote down man in the mirror. 2 years later, I'm at Glenn's. Glenn gets up to turn on the keyboard, and he starts playing this riff. I'm flipping through my lyric book, and the phrase "man in the mirror" popped off the page. I swear to you, Scott, I couldn't write it fast enough. I was like, I'm just trying to write this all out, right? So in like 10, 12 minutes, we had the first verse and the first chorus of Man in the Mirror. It was Wednesday evening. Glenn said, you go home and finish the lyric. I'll finish the track. We'll demo it on Friday. I'm like, great. Friday night, we finished the song. Too late for the Quest publishing offices. They'd already closed. I didn't want to wait all weekend to get an answer from Quincy. So I called Quincy, and I said, Q, Glenn and I have come up with this amazing song. He said, great. Turn it into the office on Monday. I'll hear it on Monday or Tuesday. I said, no, Q, no. I just really want you to hear it like right now. Can I just drop it off? No, Sid. I'm in my dining room with 12 suits at my dining room table. I can't do it right now. Quincy, just let me. Quincy has 6 daughters. So he knew this was a futile argument. So I went to his house and I gave him the cassette and I said, Q, just let me know as soon as you can. He's like, all right. Close the door. Calls me a couple hours later, and the rest.
Her story.
That's right.
Did you so so in that, I mean, there's so much going on in that. Yeah, I mean, you clearly were so confident, and maybe naively so.
Yes.
You had this naive confidence that, oh my God, this is like the best song ever written. But here you are presenting it to Quincy. Did you have a sense, or maybe it was just so early in kind of in the process of your career, you weren't even thinking about these things, but as those of us kind of adults were looking back at it, going, did you have a sense that if this didn't go well, this might have been the beginning of the end? You might never have gotten another chance.
No, because then it would just have been another song that I present in my catalog.
Gone.
I got a lot of those, by the way. Not too many Michael Jacksons to record them, but I got. Yeah. You're gonna hear 1 or 2 this evening.
And so Quincy listens to the song, and he, as you said, he tells you that, oh my God, this is one of the best songs ever. But I'm not so sure
that Michael will agree.
Right. So how did you? What did Quincy or even Michael tell you later on about how Quincy presented it to Michael?
I don't know. I think Quincy was just playing him songs to finish the record, and Quincy was playing him the newest songs. I mean, there were songwriters that I've known over the years, and a lot of them were at my early auditions.
Yeah.
That have really kind of lifted me up and made me realize that I no longer had to refer to myself as a demo singer. In fact, Cynthia Weil of Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil wrote Through the Fire for Shaka and tons of other. Anyway, I sang the demo for Through the Fire for Shaka. And really quick, just a little side note. Yes, I sang the demo, and they were really concerned because Shaka is the reason I sing. So when she asked me to do this demo, and I start going, through the fire, she said, don't do the arms like that. I said, Cindy, you don't understand. That's what Shaka would do. Through the fire. She said, okay. So as it turned out, Shaka did the demo exactly as I sang it, and because that's who Shaka is, and I knew that. So Cynthia Mann said to me, Siedah, I just heard your song on the radio, And you, my dear, are no longer a demo singer. You are a songwriter. And I was like,
What's that? I mean, getting and not to sidetrack the conversation, but getting validation like
oh
that
God, that
from a
meant so much.
songwriter of that stature,
Yes.
all of a sudden that puts you in a different league.
It was everything. It was everything to
Yeah.
me. I mean, yeah. And then but because Quincy was doing Patty Austin's album and he was finishing Michael's record, every songwriter in LA was writing songs
Sure.
for those two
Sure.
projects, and I was singing all the demos.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, particularly you had the chance to work with Quincy. What is he like as a collaborator? What advice did he give you?
He told me to write what I know. And one of the best words of advice that Quincy ever gave me as a songwriter is he told me that the best writers are rewriters. And I was like, what? He said, yes, the best writers are rewriters. Because you write down an idea and you hone that idea. You fix every line to make every line the best it could be. Michael, the guy who wrote Hamilton, he has
Lin-Manuel.
Yeah. Lin-Manuel Miranda. He has the best. He had the best verbalization of that process that I've ever seen. And when he said, you write down your idea and you just continue to make each and every line the best line that it can be. And I just love that because that's what I do.
You have to be your own editor.
Absolutely. And be your own worst critic. You have to be the hardest critic.
Yeah. Well, and that's, that's the, I think sometimes that's the thing that gets lost about songwriting because, as you said, Glenn is, he starts with a little melody. You're flipping through a notebook, Man in the Mirror. Oh my God, 12 minutes later, we got this thing. And it's just
unbelievable.
It's so easy. But it's years in the process of learning and kind of training yourself to recognize those moments.
But it's also being in the right place at the right time. Because, like I said, I have a few gems that may never ever see the light of day. But it's just about I would write songs. If I can't not write songs. Sure. I mean, it's how I live. It's what's in me. It's what gives me joy. It's what brings me the most happiness in my life. That and knitting, of course.
Yeah. Nothing like knitting. Yeah. And
I made this little ensemble you're looking at. I told the band earlier we ran into a flock of crows on the way in.
Not quite sure where to go with this now.
I'm sorry, Scott. It's out of hand now. It's out of hand.
Yeah.
You've lost it. You know that.
No, I'm fully in control. It's
okay.
not. This is not a problem. But in terms of songwriting, I've had many opportunities to talk to songwriters, and many times I'm told that when asked whether it's a great songwriter or a great instrumentalist, how did you come up with that line? How did you come up with that memorable riff on guitar? And I'll get answers that are very similar to, I don't so much create them as I receive them.
Yeah. Like when I was writing those lyrics, it was like I couldn't write it fast enough. Like the words were coming, and I felt like a vessel. I just felt like a vessel through which the universe was speaking to me, God, love, whoever you want to call it. But I was not in control. I was just trying to get it all out before it went away.
Right. But there's something there's a next level down on some of this, and I was smart enough to write down a quote of yours talking about writing this song. And you said, all I wanted to do was give Michael something he would want to say to the world, and I knew it couldn't be another "Oh baby, I love you" song.
Yeah.
So obviously there was something deeper.
Knife.
Yeah. But there was something deeper going on than just, oh my God, this is a great thing. Tell me a little bit about kind of what was going on with you at that time that a song with this level of kind of self-reflection and consideration about who you are in the world? What was going on with you that brought that out?
God, that's a great question. I never ever thought about that, but I was just trying to get in where I fit in. I was just trying to make a mark for myself. First, as an artist, that didn't pan out so well. But as a songwriter, I was allowed to flourish and grow, and I was able to learn so much from the producers and other songwriters that I would sing the demos for. It was just an amazing education, and I would not trade it for anything in the world. It was a time that will never be repeated again. Those kinds of records will never be made again. Those kind of record sales will never be had again. It was just the right time. The stars were aligned, and everything just flowed into place. All I had to do was be.
Yeah.
So, and that's all you have to do. Just be.
So you got to talk to Michael on the phone.
Yes, my husband.
Which is pretty cool. But tell me about the first time you met him in person.
Okay, I didn't know I was going to meet him. Quincy said, "Come down to the studio." So I walk in the studio, and there's no other singers. It's just Quincy, the amazing engineer Bruce Swedeen, and Michael Jackson. So I'm walking into the booth, and this one is following me with a video camera. And it's the 80s, so the camera was like this, right? Michael's following me, and I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I want to videotape you singing the song, because the key was too high for Michael. I had to re-sing the demo in a lower key. So I go in to sing the demo, and Michael's behind me with this camera. I said, what are you doing? He said, I want to videotape you singing this song. I'm like, why? Because I want to sing it like you.
No.
I said, great, Mike. All my friends are going to believe me when I say he wants to sing it like me. Great. So we had that moment, and I never thought about it until 25 years later when Spike Lee's documentary came out about the making of Bad. And you can see Michael with this big-ass video camera following me into the booth, because the booth was mirrored. So it's the man in the mirror filming the woman behind the man in the mirror in the mirror. It was amazing. I never knew that moment was captured. And now everybody knows. Love it.
And at that, I should ask. I mean, at that point, you're very early in your career. How many other artists had you written songs for?
Oh, 0.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought the answer was. Yeah. So you must have been, and granted, we're getting this sense of things, losing your mind at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I told you I felt like I was high the whole time. I didn't smoke nothing, but I felt high. It was so much, it was ridiculously fun, man. And when you're in the studio with Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson, I felt like, I'm talking. So when you're in that position, you just want to do your best.
Sure.
You want to do the best that you can do for them, because you want to. You're the only slouch in the room as far as that goes. So I just wanted to come up and I wanted to deliver to them what they wanted from me.
So when Man in the Mirror is completed, tell me about the first time you listened back to it. When you heard it completed.
That would be on the radio.
Really?
On the radio. I remember driving down the freeway, the 10 freeway, almost to the 110, and it came on. And it was like my next breath was like, and my heart started palpitating. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And then I'm mad at myself for yelling because then I couldn't hear the song. So I'm like, I had to pull over. I got off the freeway and I sat in my little 68 Volkswagen and just cried.
Oh. Yeah.
It was so joyful.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the money. I just thought,
That comes later.
this is a good thing. This is good. This is really good. I need a tissue.
Do we have
Tito?
I think we need tissues or a towel or something. I'm gonna, there's a phrase
There's
in
some
my.
ladies in here who have. You have a purse.
There you go.
Here
There you go. There's a
Thank you,
phrase
my dear.
in my culture called verklempt. You're getting a little verklempt.
Thank you.
For those of you who would understand that. Jews in the room. All right.
Verklempt. A little flustered.
Yeah, there you go.
You could use a smear. I don't know.
So the record comes out. Okay, you've listened to it now in your 68 VW. And lo and behold, it's nominated for a Record of the Year Grammy. So tell me when you found out about that.
I was ecstatic. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, can this get any better? It's the gift that 30 years later, Man in the Mirror is the gift that just keeps giving.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible for you to describe, I mean, given the success of the song, because it was, a number one song and all over the world, what it meant to you as a young songwriter in terms of not only your feeling about yourself, but your career?
I thought I was going to be Beyonce, actually. I had ideas and concepts of my own. But, life has a way of placing you where you need to be when you need to be there. So for me, that was the moment that I grew from the demo singer to the songwriter.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be the girl who wrote lyrics that meant something. Like, I could never write my neck, my back. No, I just. I want to be proud of the lyrics that I write.
Right. It's still rolling around the audience here for a minute.
You can finish it later.
Yeah.
When you get to the car.
But I have to. but I've got to say, so it's one thing to want to be Beyonce or Janet Jackson or whoever, but you saved someone's life.
Wow, yeah.
You saved someone's life.
I think in their own way, songwriters and recording artists have a duty almost, because little kids are singing your lyrics, man, and I'm tired of when my husband / manager, I call him my husbander. When my husbander has his granddaughter in the car, we can't listen to the radio that I like to listen. Hip hop ain't on the menu, so we have to change what goes into her mind, because we don't want her, at school humming stuff like that, or even. You have to realize what you're putting into the minds of the next generation, what you're feeding them, and what they're listening to. I don't want to be a part of anything, but I want to feel proud of the lyrics that I write. And when I hear people singing them, like, dude, I was in Miami a few months ago. I was in an art gallery, and the guy knew I was coming, so he starts playing Man in the Mirror. And people are just walking around the art gallery. I'm starting with the. Oh, no, wait. Not always starting. Sometimes I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Whatever it is, they're singing my song. And it's such a beautiful feeling. Like everywhere I go. And even, I didn't realize how much I would miss Michael. God, I miss him so much. When I'm not even thinking about him, I can be in my car, pull up at a light. The next car, he's in the next car. Go to the grocery store, he's in the freezer section. Go to the bank, he's in the elevator. He's everywhere. So I can't not think about him, and I'm so happy that my memories of him are just grand and beautiful.
Yeah.
Touring with Michael, man, it was like being on the road with the baby Jesus. Everywhere we went, it was like we hated when we were in the same hotel as Michael. It was A, B, and C hotel. A, Michael and his crew. B, the band and the singers. C, the crew, right? Dancers crew. So there were some countries we went to where there was no B hotel. So we had to stay in the same hotel with Michael. Oh, God, we knew we weren't getting any rest that night. All night. We are the world. We are the Michael. Oh my Jesus! And he loved it. And when it kind of settled down, he would open up the Michael. It was insane. It was insane.
So, I mean, you did have that experience of touring with him, and besides not getting any sleep, I'm wondering, as an artist, having the opportunity to work with him over a long period of time, what did you learn from him? What did you take away from that experience?
Okay, being on the road with the King of Pop was like a master class every night. We would see him on stage, and as musicians, we saw him every night. And the audience couldn't tell. He was great to them every night. And he was great to us every night. But Scott, baby, some nights, Michael was so amazing. The band and the singers were like, damn. And we
Never
see
seen
him
that
every
before.
night. So
Yeah.
it was just,
Yeah.
some nights he was just so head and shoulders above what the standard is.
Huh.
He was in another stratosphere, dude. Yeah. And it was such an awesome thing to watch him manipulate. The audience was right here in the palm of his hand at any given moment. It was such a beautiful thing to watch.
But
I'm gonna try to repeat that this evening.
And you've got your crew wearing the ghetto T-shirts.
Ghetto was a state of mind, my friend.
Yes. But tell us about that and what that means to you.
Well, I'm very blessed to have been. I've served on 2 Grammy boards, and I really enjoyed being involved in that way. I enjoyed the inner workings of the Grammy Foundation. I've met a lot of amazing people that I continue to work with, like today. Like right now, I'm working with Christopher Tin, amazing composer, and who else, Eric? Harvey Mason Jr.
I've heard of him.
Why he's my husband, Jr.
I've heard of him.
Harvey Mason Jr. It's just the relationships that I've managed, that I've garnered, just by being involved with the Grammy Foundation has really been a blessing to me.
Yeah. As you were a young woman growing up in Compton. And
yes, I know I don't sound like it, but I did come from Compton.
And I'm wondering, as you were growing up, was there an artist that you heard that made you want to pursue a career in music?
Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan is the reason I sing. I'll say it again. I was in pig heaven when I was working on Back on the Block album with Quincy Jones, and I sang on Quincy's album this song that Glenn Ballard and Cliff Magnus wrote called "The Places You Find Love." That is one of my favorite songs on the planet, and I sang the demo. And Quincy loved the song and wanted to put it on his record, so I sang the whole song. and we were having a listening thing, and Quincy was adding other musicians and then Shaka Khan came in, and Quincy played Shaka the song, and Quincy told Shaka to go see what she could sing the song, and Shaka said, "What the fuck you need me for? You got her."
Ah. Ah.
And I said, "Yeah, Quincy, what the fuck you need her for? You got me."
So, across all the years and the experience, working with Michael Jackson, writing for Michael Jackson, working with Quincy Jones, is there a moment that stands out for you among all of this that encapsulates your enthusiasm for what you do?
Well, as you said that, I mean, there are tons of moments that I could bring up right now, but there was one defining moment. I don't know where we were, somewhere on the road in Europe, I think. And Man in the Mirror always closed the show. And I remember being on stage, just, singing my background parts and watching Michael do his thing and looking out into this audience, 90,000, 100,000 people packed into a soccer field. Each one had a big lighter. And to see a sea of big, as far as I could see, there was lighters. And everybody's singing Man in the Mirror. To the point where Michael was just like,
Huh.
It was just, that's when I really knew that I'd done something as a songwriter. Like, I made my own little mark.
Well, here's all I can say is we're so glad you took the time to come down here and chat with us.
Thanks for having me.